Your refrigerator feels like the safest place in your kitchen. Cold. Clean. Reliable. But what if I told you some of the foods you refrigerate every day actually lose nutrition, change chemically, and quietly work against your body? Not because they are bad foods, but because they are stored in the wrong place. Today, we are uncovering 5 everyday foods your fridge may be ruining, and almost no one talks about this. Stay with me. The last one surprises most people. If you enjoy learning simple habits that protect your health and help you age smarter, you might enjoy this channel. Consider subscribing. We focus on small knowledge that makes a big difference over time. Food 1, potatoes. Let's start with a food found in almost every home, potatoes. Most people put potatoes straight into the refrigerator, believing the cold will keep them fresh longer. It sounds logical, but this is where the mistake happens. When potatoes are stored in cold temperatures, something unexpected occurs. The cold causes the starch inside the potato to convert into sugar. This does not mean the potato is spoiled. But it does mean the taste changes. Potatoes can become slightly sweet, and their texture changes when cooked. There is another issue most people do not realize. When these sugar-rich potatoes are cooked at high heat, such as frying or baking, they can form unwanted chemical compounds that are not ideal for your health. So the potato did not rot. It transformed. Potatoes actually prefer a cool, dark, well-ventilated place, like a pantry or cupboard, not refrigerator cold. This is the first example of how cold does not always mean safe. Food 2, tomatoes. Next, tomatoes. They are one of the most common foods people place in the refrigerator without a second thought. After all, tomatoes spoil quickly, right? So the fridge feels like the safest place. Visually, everything seems fine. The tomato still looks red. The skin is smooth. No mold. No smell. No warning signs. But inside the tomato, something important quietly stops. Tomatoes are living fruits even after they are picked. They continue to ripen naturally at room temperature through a series of enzymatic reactions. When tomatoes are placed in the refrigerator, the cold halts these ripening enzymes. Flavor development slows, and in many cases, never fully resumes, even after the tomato is taken back out. That is why refrigerated tomatoes often taste bland, flat, or watery, even if they look perfect. But flavor loss is only part of the story. Cold temperatures also damage the tomato's internal cell structure. The delicate cell walls begin to break down. This is why cold tomatoes often feel soft or mealy when sliced. The structure that once held juices and nutrients evenly is disrupted. Now let's talk about something most people never consider: nutrition. Tomatoes are famous for an antioxidant called lycopene. This compound gives tomatoes their red color and plays a powerful role in the body. Lycopene is associated with heart health, brain protection, and reducing oxidative stress over time. But here is the issue. Prolonged refrigeration can reduce the effectiveness and availability of lycopene. The nutrient does not disappear overnight, but slowly and silently, its benefits begin to fade. So the tomato still looks healthy, but nutritionally, it is becoming weaker. This is what makes refrigerated tomatoes dangerous in a subtle way. There is no smell. No visible decay. No obvious sign that anything is wrong. Yet the damage is happening quietly. A cold tomato does not scream for attention. It simply loses what made it valuable in the first place. We often judge food safety by appearance alone. If it looks fine, we assume it is fine. But as you are starting to see, cold does not always preserve. Sometimes it interrupts. The ideal place for tomatoes is room temperature, away from direct sunlight, where ripening can continue naturally. Once fully ripe, short refrigeration may slow spoilage, but long-term cold storage comes at a cost most people never notice. A cold tomato may still look healthy, but nutritionally, it is fading. Sometimes damage is silent. Food 3, honey. Now let's talk about a food that almost everyone believes is immortal: honey. People refrigerate honey thinking it will last longer or because they believe cold automatically means preservation. But honey does not need the fridge. In fact, the fridge quietly damages it. Honey is naturally antibacterial. Its low moisture content and unique enzymes make it one of the few foods that does not spoil when stored properly. When honey is placed in cold temperatures, the first thing that happens is crystallization. Crystallized honey is not spoiled, but it is altered. The cold causes glucose molecules to separate from water and form crystals. The smooth, flowing texture turns thick, grainy, and hard. This change is not just visual. Cold storage can slow or disrupt honey's natural enzymes responsible for many of its health benefits. These enzymes support antibacterial action, digestion, and natural preservation. When honey is repeatedly cooled and reheated, these enzymes begin to lose effectiveness over time. Here is something most people do not realize. Many people microwave or overheat crystallized honey to make it liquid again. High heat further destroys enzymes and antioxidants, turning a once-living food into little more than sweet syrup. The damage does not happen all at once. It happens slowly and quietly, with good intentions. Honey did not expire. It was stripped of its purpose. Honey does not need saving. It needs respect. The best place to store honey is in a tightly sealed container at room temperature, away from direct sunlight and moisture. In these conditions, honey can last for years, even decades, without refrigeration. Cold does not protect honey. It interrupts what already works. Some foods are already perfectly designed for stability. When we interfere, especially with cold, we do not preserve them. We weaken them. If this kind of everyday knowledge is helpful, feel free to subscribe. Most health problems do not come from big mistakes. They come from small ones repeated daily. Food 4, bread. Now let's talk about something almost everyone puts in the refrigerator at some point, bread. Usually with good intentions. People refrigerate bread to stop mold, to make it last longer, to save it. But refrigeration does the opposite of what most people expect. Cold air does not preserve bread. It ages it faster. Bread goes stale primarily through a process called starch retrogradation. When bread is exposed to cold temperatures, the starch molecules inside begin to recrystallize rapidly. This causes the bread to lose moisture from within. The result is bread that becomes dry, hard, and stale, sometimes overnight. This is why refrigerated bread often feels tough or rubbery, even when there is no mold in sight. Because the bread looks safe, people eat it anyway. But stale bread is harder to digest. As bread dries out, it becomes more resistant to digestive enzymes. This can lead to bloating, discomfort, and reduced nutrient absorption in some people. Bread stored in the fridge also loses aroma and taste. Cold air absorbs surrounding odors, and bread acts like a sponge. Even when toasted, refrigerated bread never quite tastes the same. This is not decay. It is degradation. The bread did not go bad. It went backward. The best place to store bread is at room temperature in a breathable container, away from direct sunlight. For long-term storage, freezing is far better than refrigeration. Freezing halts staling, while the fridge accelerates it. Bread does not need cold air. It needs balance. Once again, cold does not always preserve. Sometimes it steals time. Food 5, avocados. Now let's talk about a food many people refrigerate out of confusion, avocados. They ripen slowly, then suddenly feel overripe overnight. So people put them in the fridge, hoping to pause time. Cold does slow ripening, but it also creates a different problem. Avocados ripen through natural enzymatic activity, breaking down firm fibers into a smooth, creamy texture. When an unripe avocado is placed in the refrigerator, the cold interrupts this process. The enzymes slow so much that the fruit may never ripen properly at all. That is why refrigerated avocados often feel strange when cut open. The outside looks fine, but inside the texture is uneven. Hard in some areas. Brown in others. Sometimes rubbery. Sometimes watery. This is not rot. It is interrupted development. Cold temperatures also damage the avocado's delicate cell membranes, leading to internal browning even when the skin still looks perfect. Avocados are rich in healthy fats that support brain function, heart health, and nutrient absorption. Prolonged cold storage can cause these fats to oxidize faster once exposed, reducing both flavor and nutritional value. Once again, the avocado may look fine, but its value is quietly declining. Unripe avocados belong at room temperature. Once ripe, short refrigeration can slow spoilage, but cold should be temporary, not permanent. The avocado did not fail. Its process was interrupted. And this completes the pattern we have seen across all 5 foods. Sometimes the fridge does not protect food. It confuses it. Health does not collapse overnight. It erodes quietly through habits we assume are harmless. Inflammation, digestive stress, and brain fog do not start with one bad choice. They start with misunderstandings. If this video helped you see food differently, you are welcome here. Subscribe if you want to keep learning how small daily choices shape long-term health. No pressure. Just shared wisdom. Your refrigerator is a tool, not a solution. Cold preserves some things and quietly ruins others. Use it wisely. Your future self will thank you.